Well, we're recording. We're recording. All right. Hello, welcome to Fun with Lund. It has been a couple of weeks since we've been here because we have been in the US and in North America researching a bunch of different things. It started off with us researching Trump and his new bodyguard, and that morphed into a deep dive into the latest happenings with the DNC. So let's just jump right into it. There is a lot to go over today. We have pictures, we have evidence, and we have some straight up insanity. And we're going to presenter mode. Okay. So we were in the US over the last few weeks, and we were very curious about Donald Trump and his new bodyguard. And as you can see here, his bodyguard is an oversized rabbit. Rabbits are very strong, they're very aggressive, they have very sharp teeth, and they will absolutely chew up anything that gets in their way. It could be a carrot, it could be the enemy, it doesn't really matter. It could be a dirty Russian. But the point is that everybody knows rabbits make the best bodyguards. However, when we were at Capitol Hill, I thought it would be interesting to do a little research into the DNC. And I checked my email inbox, and I get quite a few emails from Harris-Walz, from the DNC establishment. As many of you know, I used to work for the DNC, worked in the 2004 presidential election with John Kerry. I've been a contributor to the Democrats over the years, but I'm not necessarily a devout Democrat because I like to maintain some independence. But the point is that the Democrats often reach out to me. They want my advice. They want some help from me occasionally. And what you can see from these emails, the kind of help they're looking for is money. So they're looking for donations. And for some reason, the number 25 comes up quite a bit. They keep asking for $25 donations. And remember this number 25 because it's going to come up again a couple of times. So in the most recent email from them, we had a little chat here between Kamala and Tim, and they said if I made at least a $25 donation, I could have a selfie with them. And I could not turn that down. I wanted the selfie. I went straight to the donation page. As you can see on the left, the amount that I am donating is $25,000, not 25. I felt like $25 was simply inadequate and quite frankly insulting. So we're going to be donating $25,000, and we're going to make it weekly. So every week between now and the election, we're going to send $25,000 to Walz and Harris. And I think for me, the cincher was they said, don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because if I donate money, I can meet them. And everybody knows that politicians rarely, if ever, meet with donors. But it seems like their campaign is making this very rare exception to meet with donors. So I'm thinking that if I donate well over $100,000 because it's 25 grand per week between now and the election, that I'll have this rare opportunity to meet them and have a selfie. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Right. So as I'm going through my email inbox, I'm getting confirmation about the $25,000 per week that I'm sending to them. And I notice another trend. This other trend is related to cows. Holy cow. Okay, remember cows because this is going to come up, and this came up during our research in the US over the past couple of weeks. Cows and joy. The foundation of the Harris-Walz campaign is joy, and it's tied together with cows. Joy and cows. Where does this lead? This had us asking a lot of questions as we were moving through the US, trying to meet with different political officials, trying to learn more about what's happening at the heart of the campaign, learning about Trump as well, because we're interested in the overall system. So as the DNC event in Chicago wrapped up, I noticed some of the key wording that they sent out with their emails and press releases. The energy was electric and the joy was contagious. We're not speaking hyperbole. Okay, electric. When I think of electric, I think of Tesla. When the word electricity comes to mind, the absolute first thing, the first person I think of is Tesla. So are Harris-Walz telling us that Tesla is somehow involved in their campaign? Of course, we have the word joy. That's been a theme throughout the entire campaign thus far, and I think it will be right up until the end. And then the word contagious. Contagious. And we've already been talking about cows, and then we highlight the word not hyperbole. Some of you may know that back in the 80s and 90s, there was a metal band by the name of Anthrax. Anthrax had a mascot, a character called the Not Man. And when we link contagious with not, the Not Man, we have anthrax. And of course, anthrax is mad cow disease. So anthrax is tied back to this theme of holy cow, which we've seen in so many of the emails. And it's contagious. Okay, is this just a coincidence or is this going somewhere? And we couldn't let it go. We had to continue digging deeper. And the other word that struck me here is hyperbole. Hyperbole. Okay, but let's break that down. What is hyperbole? Well, hyperbole. Hyperbole. Okay, hyper being over, beyond, above, excessively, such as a contagious disease spreading. Bole, the trunk of a tree. Now, when we start thinking about the United States and trees, we think of the Dust Bowl and bowl. As you can see here, bole is sometimes confused with bowl and bowl. Dust Bowl. What is a Dust Bowl? Well, that's the center of the United States. Okay, so let's take this a little further. So again, I get an email from Harris-Walz, and again, they mention holy cow. And they're talking about their donations. Where are these donations coming from? The momentum behind their campaign is incredible. And as you can see, there are a lot of donations on the east, a lot of donations in the west, and there are some donations from Walz's home state, Minnesota, up north there. Okay, but if we start thinking about this in terms of Dust Bowl, if we start thinking about this in terms of cows, and we step back and look at the bigger picture, what is really happening here? Democrats are run by Saturn. That when you lay the alchemy symbol for Saturn over the United States and you start in the north with Minnesota and you let it run down all the way to the Mississippi, you divide the country in half. You go right through Chicago and you touch every single state that the Mississippi River touches. And that's prime land to raise cattle. And here's another representation of what that actually looks like. So we have Minnesota, we have Wisconsin, we have Iowa. These are all battleground states. Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana. We believe, I'm going to say that we know at this point, that Harris-Walz are trying to divide the United States. They have their fundraising base on both coasts, and they are going to launch a full-scale attack moving towards that Mississippi River. And those forces are going to converge on that Mississippi River and destroy everything in their path. Why do we think this? We broke it down into some numerology. Okay, joy, the cornerstone of the campaign, and cow. I kept wondering why. Why is that 25 so relevant? And it turns out, numerically, Y, the letter Y, is the 25th letter of the alphabet. So they are ending their message, J-O-Y, with the number 25, which is exactly how much money they're looking to raise from everybody. Of course, I did a little bit more than that because I'm a good person, I'm a good citizen. I moved the decimal point over a bit, 25,000 per week. Thank you. And then when we sum up the numbers of joy, we have the number 4. What's the significance of the number 4? Then when we have the word cow and we sum it up numerically, we end up with the number 5. So for anyone who doesn't know how this works, we assign each letter, J-O-Y, C-O-W, with their corresponding place in the alphabet. So C is the 3rd letter in the alphabet, O the 15th, W the 23rd, and we start to add up those numbers. 3, there's no other number, it becomes 3. 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. W, 2 plus 3 is 5. We add up those numbers, we get 14, and it goes down to 5. Okay, stay with me. This numerology is pretty complicated. Okay, but we reduce them to 4 and 5, and what's the significance? Well, again, these numbers start to reappear. How long is the DNC? Well, the convention lasted for 4 days. And each day began with a delegation breakfast at 7 a.m. and finishes its main program at 10:15 sharp, Central Time. Central Time, just like the Mississippi River. Now, 7 with a breakfast. Is there a feast of fools? Remember this Feast of Fools, because this is coming back to Saturn in a moment. Feast of Fools, breakfast starting at 7 a.m., 10:15 p.m. Okay, why is that significant? Well, if you look at the 15, the 1 plus 5, you have 6. And then on the flip side, if you add up 10, 1 plus 0, and then subtract it from 7, you also have 6. So on both sides of the colon in the time, you have 6, 6. 1 plus 5 is 6. 7 a.m. minus 10. The difference is 6. 6, 6. Feast of Fools coming for the devil. Let's take this one step further. So what happened next? Well, at the convention, Little John came out. Notice what's behind Little John. Georgia. Why is this relevant? Because everybody knows that Little John's hook is yeah. Yeah, 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 Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. What was the most contested state in the 2020 election? It was Georgia. And Little John is just coming out and mocking the Republicans, saying, yeah, we did it in Georgia. And you know what? We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again in 2024. Little John is behind the corruption in the state of Georgia. Little John is behind the political corruption in Georgia, and he's proud of it. And he was taunting the Republicans at the DNC. Look at this. Georgia. Yeah, 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 yeah. And there they all are together. There's Luda, there's Usher, and Little John all screaming, yeah, 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 because they delivered Georgia to the Democrats through complete corruption. And for those of you out there who are skeptical, because I know some of this sounds pretty hard to believe, let me run you through it. Usher. Who is Usher? Well, look at Usher's chain. This is the chain that Usher wears. Zoom in close, and you have an inverted symbol of Saturn. And you might think, oh, that's kind of crazy. Like, what are the odds of that? That can't be true. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Is it just a coincidence? Look at the CD cover. Yeah. Look at the image on the left. Look at the image on the right. This has been in the works since this song was released almost 2 decades ago. Usher, Little John, and Luda were all behind setting up Georgia for this 2020 election against Donald Trump. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. There's a hip-hop conspiracy against Donald Trump in Georgia. But let's keep moving through this because there's a lot more to take in. So I mentioned joy being reduced to 4, cow being reduced to 5. The difference is 1. Who is the 1? Madam President. Der Spiegel. Der Spiegel, by the way, means the mirror. Okay, it's a German magazine. But they're holding this up as a reflection to you. Madam President is reflected in all of you. And she is the golden calf. Harris is the golden calf. Cow, she's the 1. She is the golden calf. What do we know about the worship of the golden calf? Right, because you can see that she's being worshipped here, right? She's being worshipped across the media. The mainstream media is worshiping her as if she is some kind of savior who's going to deliver wealth and deliver prosperity to the entire country, right? She is this golden calf. She's the cow. Ties back to the emails of Holy Cow. Worshiping the golden calf. It's almost like little John is right there in the audience yelling, yeah, 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 yeah. It's all right there. So let's tie this back to Saturn. So there is this festival that is happening right here called Saturnalia in the Roman tradition, Saturnalia. Okay? And when we start to investigate Saturnalia, we see this book from Derek Gilbert, who talks about the second coming of Saturn. America's temple. What is America's temple? Well, let's look at what used to happen in the days of old. The temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum was at a place called Capitolinus Mons. When you translate that into English, it is Capitol Hill. Where is the White House located? Capitol Hill. And what used to happen in this Saturnalia event is that there would be a public banquet followed by private gift giving, continual partying, and a carnival atmosphere that overturned Roman social norms. I would say that's not unlike what we just saw in Chicago at the DNC. And there would also be human sacrifice or different types of sacrifices to the gods. I'm not even going to get into that now. We simply don't have time to cover the story in that kind of depth. But we're talking about overturning social norms, societal norms, destroying Judeo-Christian values, and dividing the country by civil war. And it all stems from the DNC at Capitol Hill. Okay, now when we bring a spiritual element into this, how did God punish the Jews for the golden calf? He killed them all. And what you can see here in this picture is a deranged Joe Biden coming out with a hammer to destroy the golden calf and all of humanity. They are pushing for a civil war in the United States, and what they haven't taken into account is that Joe Biden is in a cavern somewhere right now. He's in a cave. He's growing out his beard long, and he's the wild card in all of this. He could be the one who saves humanity. He could be the one who actually destroys humanity even more than it's already going to be destroyed. Negative humanity. That's a physiological concept. I'm not going to get into it now. Negative humanity is a thing. We'll save that for another podcast. But we have deranged Joe Biden with a hammer and his long beard coming out to smash the golden calf and to smash society because he's angry. He didn't want to step down. He was very open about how he did not want to step down. He had no intention of doing it, but there was a little bit of a civil war. Okay? The Civil War started with Harris and the White House. The Civil War is going to spread across the land, and there is going to be massive death and carnage. And I think some people are still going to be skeptical, but let's continue with this line of reasoning. All right, again, we have joy, reduces to 4. What is the significance of 4? The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We have war, famine, pestilence, and death. What you'll notice about the four horsemen is that they are all women. Who else is a woman? Kamala Harris. Look around right now. Is there a lot of war happening in the world? Middle East? Ukraine? Africa? Yeah. Is there famine? Yeah, there have been a lot of issues lately with farmers. Food prices are going through the roof. Pestilence? Disease? Okay, yeah, we just went through COVID. We have monkeypox. We have anthrax. And then we have death. Death waits for us all. There's no mercy. There's absolutely no mercy. If the DNC wins this next election, which I think they could, the four horsemen of the apocalypse will be upon us all. And again, there are some people who are going to be skeptical. Well, let's talk about the Lord of Misrule. Okay, the Lord of Misrule is related to the Age of Unreason, and it's a more modern take on Saturnalia. And what do you see in the picture here to the left? You once again see the rabbits. Donald Trump hired the oversized rabbit for his new bodyguard. Again, there are four icons here, right? There are four quadrants here. Each quadrant has one rabbit. The rabbit is riding a cow. And then there is the goofy face with the smile. That goofy face with the smile refers to Der Spiegel, the magazine I showed you earlier. They're looking at you and they're laughing at you. There is the rabbit, which was at the White House, which has infiltrated the Trump campaign and has infiltrated Capitol Hill. And then you have the golden calf that the rabbit is riding while it's blowing its horn of war. And this all ties back to the Feast of Fools. It all started at the DNC at 7 a.m. on the first day of the conference with the Feast of Fools. The DNC breakfast, 7 a.m. Feast of Fools. And the Lord of Misrule is stepping up, and that's Kamala Harris. And it's no coincidence that it's misrule. Miss, as in hello, miss. Hello, young lady. Misrule. It's a woman. The Lord of Misrule is a woman. Authoritarianism. Misauthoritarian, misrule. Rules. You will follow the rules. And when we start to move forward even deeper into this conspiracy, it turns out that it doesn't even matter if we're talking about the Democrats or Republicans. Look at their logos. On the left, we have the Republicans. On the left, we have the Democrats. On the right, we have the Republicans. On the left, the Democrats. On the right, the Republicans. These icons are almost identical. Both parties, no matter who wins, is going to be pushing for a civil war. Make Saturnalia great again. In both of these icons, we have an eagle, we have weapons, we have a wreath. Make Saturnalia great again. Civil war is coming. Civil war is coming, and there is proof right here. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? We don't know. But the final piece of evidence that we uncovered while in the United States over the past couple of weeks is the craziest twist of all. John McCain is actually Tim Walz. John McCain is Tim Walz. Everybody thought John McCain was dead. And he did die. He went to hell where he belonged, but then the devil sent him back to earth to join Kamala Harris and to destroy the United States. John McCain has been sent back to earth to destroy the United States, and he's using Tim Walz as a vessel. This is no joke. This is no laughing matter. If they can reincarnate John McCain in the form of Tim Walz, what else can they do? You can't stop them. You can't stop them. You best join them. Steph, what do you think of this?
Well, that was a hell of a ride, what you put me through. But I also found some information about the numerology and so on, and about the Saturn. And yes, I can share my point of view for the numerology.
Yeah, that's great, because the two of us have done our own independent research and we've come to very similar conclusions. And this is absolutely going to blow your minds. Little John McCain, all coming together. The Civil War of 2024.
Give me a second.
No problem.
There is something going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yes. And also some technical problems. Second. Oh man, technical problems. The first time.
Could be that we're getting hijacked by the DNC. It could be that we're getting hijacked by Saturn. There are a lot of parties out there who do not want this message to get out.
There we go.
Okay. But good will prevail. And here we are, Stefanie. Share, baby.
Okay. So you were talking about Little John, actually, and how he was singing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I found out that he had his song actually get low, and in that song there came three numbers, 369. Damn, she's fine, hoping she can suck it to me one more time. So obviously I'm not a good rapper than he, or like I can't do it as properly. So, but
hold on. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take an argument with that. You are an excellent rapper. I have seen you freestyle many times on the streets, and your freestyle rap actually won us a rap battle in New York City a couple of weeks ago, which is how we paid for our trip. So please do not ever say that you are not a good rapper. What you are is a very modest and humble rapper. But an excellent rapper you are indeed. 369, damn she fine, hoping she can sock it to me one more time. And when I hear this song, the first thing that I think about is, who are they referring to? Hoping she can sock it to me one more time.
And this brought me to 369, to the number joy, because joy was also in the presentation of yours, which is the number 9. And these numbers are actually adding up to Tesla. He has it. 369 is Tesla. And you were also talking about the electricity or electric in the crowd and everything. So 369, it's also related to Tesla. And then, like I said before, the number 9, joy actually is my calculation got up to number 9. But it's a Chaldean numerology, which was invented by the Babylonians. And yes, so 9. And I was digging into it a little bit further. 369, we have joy in different kind of languages. Freude in German, which adds up to 3. Alegría in Spanish, which adds up to 6. And joy to 9. So there we have the connection to Tesla again, 369.
Well, and obviously it all ties back to Little John as well. So Little John being the cornerstone of this 369 in Georgia, and the Harris email talking about electricity alluding to Tesla.
There was also then Tesla said the universal key is number 9, and the number 9 contains actually all the attributes of the numbers. So those are good numbers and bad numbers, or good, positive and negative. Let's call it that, not good and bad, but positive and negatives.
Never underestimate misrule. I think there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack. I think some of our listeners are going to have trouble following this because they may not understand numerology to the extent that we do. But I think what we can do is boil this down to the magic 8 ball. And the Magic 8 Ball is a very, very important tool in our battle against evil. And make no mistake, this is a war of good versus evil. And I just want to know, is good going to prevail over evil, or is evil going to prevail over good? So we're going to ask Magic 8 Ball right now. Magic 8 Ball, will good prevail over evil in the November election? Yes, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching at home, Magic 8 Ball has made it clear that good will prevail over evil in November. I wish I could show you this on the camera. It's very difficult to see. Maybe you can see that? Yes, definitely. The Magic 8 Ball has spoken. There is a savior. We don't know who that savior is yet. The savior could be Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has now joined the Trump campaign. That savior could be McCain, John McCain himself, who has now come back in Tim Walz. He could do a complete 180 because it doesn't make sense that a Republican has joined the Democratic campaign. But then the flip side, of course, is that Kennedy, as a Democrat, has joined the Republican campaign. So we truly live in an upside-down world, and anything could happen. But Magic 8 Ball has just reassured us that good will prevail over evil in November. Steph, how do you feel about this?
Those are actually good news. And yeah, this is great that good will win over evil. There are good numbers and bad numbers, and the good numbers will win.
There's going to be a lot of bloodshed. There's going to be a hell of a lot of bloodshed, but good will prevail over evil. And history has also taught us that, because if you have ever read a history book, the good guys always win. And it has nothing to do with the fact that the good guys win and they write the history book, and maybe they're telling that they were the good guys all along and that's why they won. It's a complete coincidence that the good guys always win. So it has nothing to do with the fact that the winner writes the history book and might skew the perspective. The good guys always, always win. Magic 8 Ball has confirmed it. Speaking of good guys, do you know anything about our sponsor for this episode?
I do, actually. It is Bead by Bead. Have you heard about that?
Bead per bead. The good guy. The good guy is winning. Now, if we just look at some simple numerology here, we see 22. 22 followers. I'll bet that we can quadruple that and make it 88. But in the short term, 22 is a magical number for both of us because, as you know, my birthday is on the 22nd of November, 2-2. So these double numbers always have a very strong meaning for me. Your birthday is also in the second month of the year on the 12th. So you also have a connection to 2 2s. But bead per bead. Well, look at this jewelry. My God. I think everybody knows that I don't go anywhere without my bead per bead jewelry. Can you see my bead per bead ring right here? It looks pretty sexy, doesn't it? And this is going to be the ring that I use to smash evil in November. This is my punching hand. That's my punching ring. That is the hammer of Thor. And I am going to smash some evil and make the world a better place in November. Look at this. Oh my gosh, is that how the bead per bead jewelry is made? It's made by hand with love? With that kind of attention to detail. You might know, Stefanie, that when I was in university this week, because I'm a university student now, thank you, I met someone who was in one of your bead per bead classes. Among other things, she said that you are extremely talented. She said that you are taking something that is very difficult and making it look easy. And you also explained it to her and the other students in a very simple way that they could grasp. Look at these earrings. Look at these earrings. Those are all my favorite colors. Black, white, blue, with little silver ear doodly dooskers to get them right into your ears. My God, those are beautiful. Fun with Lund. Yeah, proud sponsor. Proud sponsor. And look at those earrings again. It's like a little, it's like a crazy mosaic or something. Man, I wonder if we could like write names and stuff into those beads. Is that possible? Have you ever done that? Could you put like somebody's name in there? Could it say like Saturn or Harris or Trump or Bunny?
We could try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I did some kind of astrology signs. So what I'm wearing today is actually representing the Aquarius. Wait a second.
Show us.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Wow. That is beautiful. My God.
and you can actually combine your rings with different kind of styles, obviously, as you can see here too.
Those are different styles, but they all match. That's insane. You must have planned that.
Yes, I did. Or maybe I didn't.
Proud sponsor. Look at that. Look at that ring.
Yes, actually that ring matches the earrings, the blue, black and white ones. It was, I made it for that customer. They wanted to have a ring and earrings, so we made them.
If I would pay $25,000 per week to the Harris-Walz campaign, how much do you think I would pay for one of these rings? Certainly more than $25,000, but how much do you sell these for?
Depending on the pattern and how long it will take, but these ones are actually a little bit cheaper because they are smaller. They are about 20 euros. The other ones can go up to 30 euros, 35 euros.
35,000 or 35?
35 euros, not 35,000. That will come in a couple of weeks then.
Amazing. Amazing. Made with love. And when you reach out, be sure to mention the Fun with Lund podcast to get a discount. You can negotiate. Everything in life is negotiable. Everything's negotiable. All right, Steph. Anything else that we should cover this week? I think we've done quite a deep dive into Saturn. We've done a deep dive into Trump's new bodyguard. We've discussed our finances and how much money I'm giving to the campaign every week. We talked about John McCain's return from hell and how he, as a Republican, has joined the Democrats, but Kennedy, as a Democrat, has joined the Republicans. And we really live in an upside-down world. A civil war is coming. Deranged Joe Biden is going to emerge from a cave with a battle hammer, with a long beard, perhaps smash Harris and the golden calf, perhaps save humanity, perhaps destroy humanity. We really don't know. Anything is possible. Okay, with that, we are out of here. And here is our outro song for today, baby. Let's go!